Hi, good morning. It's Philip of Ivercy, and I just want to record a quick video demoing how Ivercy works with Dynamsoft SourceAnywhere. And a short disclaimer, I've never tried this before. I do not know if it works. I just assume it does because SourceAnywhere supports the MS-SCCI API, and Ivercy uses this API to connect to the source code control provider, and so it should work. But well, we'll have to see if it really does. So what I've done, there is a demo account, a demo server set up by Dynamsoft, and I downloaded the SourceAnywhere client. That's all I did. I've got that in my download directory. There are actually two different clients. There's the client for the hosted platform and one for the on-premises installation. And as far as I gathered from the description, I need to use the in-house client for that demo account. So I'm just going to install that. It's probably going to be a click next, yes, next thingy. Yeah, here we go. I accept the license agreement. Yeah, that is my username. I want to install this only for me. Yeah, that should be okay. Next. So now this is a little bit important because you can have several different source code control providers installed on your computer. And this is the virtual testing machine of mine, and there are actually quite a lot different providers installed. So I need to make the SourceAnywhere provider the default one because Ivercy will use the default provider, and it will raise an exception if it can't find any default provider installed. So I hope this works. So I just say yes and hope for the best. If it doesn't, we can sort that out later. Okay, finish. So far, so good. I closed the Explorer window, minimized the thingy. Now I prepared a sample database here. It's just the customer service sample that comes with Access 2013. And I did not change that at all. I'm going to open it with Access 2013. Closed the startup form. Now you might notice here's a new tab in the ribbon, Ivercy, and there are all the familiar source code control icons in there. If you have worked with the Microsoft source code control plugin, you will know all the items, you will know all the commands, and so you should feel at home instantly. What I'm going to do, I just installed the provider, I created the sample database. The first step would be to add this database to the source code control repository. Well, I click that and we'll see what happens. So you remember there were credentials here. The server is demo Dynamsoft. I don't need the port. Demo Dynamsoft.com, and I'll use this here. The port is correct. The user was Dynamsoft1, and the password was there as well. So short look at the options. Proxy, we don't need a proxy, so can hide them again and say connect. The user Dynamsoft1 does not exist. Yeah, well, that is a showstopper here. Let's have a look. Dynamsoft1. Oh, I obviously did a typo there. Happens. Okay, let's try it again. Connect now with the correct username. Oh, that looks much better. There's a repository test, repository default. I don't know. This is a test. I'll select that. That is just a dummy repository for testing. Yeah, you see there are lots and lots of thingies in there. Okay, project name. This should create a new folder there. Is there anything like customer service? No, it's not. Okay, I'll leave the project name as it is. I'll just say, okay, that should create a new folder in here named customer service. And yeah, we'll see. I hit OK. The project does not exist yet. Sure, I want to create it. Okay. So now Ivercy asks me what objects I want to ask to the repository, and usually you want to add all of them. So I just leave the list as it is, everything checked, and enter a commit message, a comment for the check-in. So that's it. I just hit OK. So now Ivercy asks me to close the database because, yeah, well, that's just necessary when you add it for the first time. I say just OK, and yeah, see what happens. Begin sending files to server. Looks promising. Yes, looks pretty good. This is the source code control output window of Ivercy, and it's kind of a log window. You see what actually happens, and it was sending all the files to the repository and then adding all the files to the repository. That is output created by the source code control provider. There's only very limited control I've got over this, but the important thing is I've got a source code control RP message, and it says for add SCC OK, everything's fine. I queried the most recent status, got an OK message there as well, so everything looks great. I close the window, and you see there are all the blue log icons here. These are the icons that Ivercy uses to show there's the object checked into the repository, and yeah, that's what you would expect to see after just adding it to the repository. Yeah, one minor thing. Here's the name of the source code control provider, and it's pretty long, and that made all these other ribbon tabs collapse. That is slightly annoying for my demo because you don't see all the icons in there. But well, that's just because I reduced the screen resolution for the demo. So what you would do when you're working with source code control, this is the default state, everything's checked in. And if you want to change something, you could just open a form in design view. In default configuration, Ivercy will detect that you opened the form in design view and probably have the intention to change something. So it asks you if you want to check that out. If I say OK, you should notice over here there's a red check mark, and that is a mark for an exclusively checked out object. Here is the log window again, and it says SCC checkout is OK, and the status query afterwards is OK too. This is sometimes interesting to see that, but sometimes it gets rather in the way. So there is a button in the ribbon, a toggle button, and I can just click that to hide the window and will not show again unless I toggle that again to be shown. Okay, so let's do some design changes here. What do? I don't know. Just think we've got so much space here. Just make those controls a little bit larger and what do I do? I don't know. The ID is pretty important, so I like to format that bold and um, change that to person title. Just some random stuff to have some changes here. Now I close the form and I say yes, I want to save the changes. And if you pay close attention, there's a little red star added to the check mark here. That means um, that object has been changed in Access. Ivercy detects that. So you actually have a checked out object that is changed. And what you would usually do if you are pretty confident that your changes are okay and complete and everything's done that you want to do right now, then you should select that and say, okay, let's check in that object again. And I absolutely recommend always to adding a comment to your check-ins. So I say minor layout changes just to have an idea what happened here. I confirm that and say okay, and now I get this progress dialog, and that's it. Now the thing is checked in again. Yeah, well, that is the very simple process of working with source code control in Access with Ivercy. So what I'm going to do now is, yeah, what am I going to do? I think I'll just close the database and delete all my local stuff here. Gone. So now I'm going to do it the other way around. I pretend I'm someone else. Look, you've got another user, Dynamsoft 2 here, and I'll pretend now I'm someone else. I've not worked with the database before. I will start my local Access 2013, and I don't want to open a local file. I go to Other Files, and here's the Ivercy tab. And I say I want to create a database from my default source code control provider. So as I said, I pretend to be someone else. I'm Dynamsoft 2, and I enter the password and I connect. So it asks me for the repository here. Choose test again. And I should find our customer service folder in here. It's actually here. Found it. Now I need to select the local folder where I want to put this project, and I'll look for the folder I used, SAW test, and I say OK, and I just say OK, and now the project should be downloaded to my local folder and looks pretty good. Okay, that is a message you might see when you create a database from source code control. The thing is, we download the empty database and open the empty database, and then Access kicks in and looks for the startup form case list here. And this form does not exist yet, so you get an error message, but it's nothing to worry about. I just confirm that with OK. And yeah. So looks fairly okay here. Say enable content. That has a status of new. That is something I need to look into because that's not as it is supposed to be. But everything else looks pretty fine. Now, you see, after I enabled the active content, the VBA code and macro stuff, actually the case list form was opened because at that time it was downloaded to the database. And yeah, we changed the case list, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll have a short list at the history. I select the show history command. And I want to show the history of the case list. ACF is a file name extension for access forms that was used by the Microsoft plugin, and it's used by Ivercy as well. Yeah, well, I just hit OK and see what happens. And you see, we got the username here. That was Dynamsoft 1. That user added the database. You see the that comment I entered for my adding the database. And you see my other comment, the other check-in, minor layout changes, that was after that. And so that is basically our tiny history of the project. Okay. So works pretty good. I do not know what's going on here. The green plus symbol is basically a symbol for a new object. That's not supposed to be here. That is some quirk. I don't know what's going on. I'll try to refresh the status. Yeah, okay. You see now, looks much better here. So I don't know what went wrong there in the first place. Maybe some timing issues, whatever. No serious issue. Now everything's as it's supposed to be. And yeah, that's basically it. So we do not support SourceAnywhere officially yet, but that looks pretty encouraging here. And I think you could definitely download Ivercy for a test drive if you are a SourceAnywhere user and see how that works out. Looks promising. Well, this was a very, very quick test, but I didn't see anything except the delay with the icon update that was not okay. Looks really, really promising. I think it's worth a try. Okay. Yeah. I think we're at the end for today. Thanks a lot for watching and listening. And if you got any questions, send me an email or write a comment or whatever. Just get in contact. Would love to hear from you. Thank you. Bye.